It's a Saturday morning and I've come into the studio to get ready to go out sketching and drawing. We're going to Twickenham today. So I have my grab and go bag. I've got a small sketchbook in there. I've got some pens, paint brushes, and I'm going to stick my paints in. So I'll pop those in as well, and I did wonder about taking my pastels and a pastel pad. Really, I don't want to lug the whole pad around with me. I think I'm going to stick with using these for still life at home. But what I might do is take my bigger pad. I enjoy using that. So I've used this for other projects. Yeah, Natural History Museum. I want to sort this archway out because it's not quite right. And I've used pastel pencils here with my sepia pen. Maybe that'll be my Twickenham Art Circle sketching around. I think I will take that. Even after all these years, I still find it difficult to choose what to take when I'm going outside sketching. I've now stuffed my bag with my pastel pencils, my water-soluble pencils, the sketchbook, watercolours, and I'll need a little receptacle for water. Make sure I've got my own water to drink as well. I better make sure I've got a brush in there. I don't think I put a brush in. It'll have to be this one. I need to get some new ones. I really need to get a new one of these. It's getting a bit worn out. And now I'm just wondering if I've got my small sketchbook here, which I can open out if I want to do a bigger drawing. I've only got one or two sketches in here, so maybe I will take that. Yeah, and I can open it out if I want to do a larger scale drawing like this. So that's kind of A4 size then. Yeah. I've already put my sun cream on and I've got my grab and go bag. Not so much a grab and go as a stuff it full and go. I'm going to travel light, so all I'm going to take is some water and I'll pick some lunch up while I'm out. So I'm now ready to go. I'm going to set off to Twickenham, and the Eel Pie Island artists have got their open studio today, so I'm hoping to get across there to Eel Pie Island as well. Have my new rucksack holdall that I got for my birthday this year. So I've stuffed that full. That's going on my back. I'm ready to go get a bus. So my thoughts are to do several sketches for about half an hour each, so that I don't get too hot, don't get too cold, don't get wet. So I found a bench. I'm going to make a start now, 10:30. So I spent a little bit longer than I planned. I spent about an hour on this and started painting. So I'm back from my outing today. I've had a really lovely day. We went to Twickenham with the art circle and we were by the riverside and York House Gardens and some really pretty areas. And then after we did some drawing, we met in the pub for a drink or lunch if people wanted. But I skittled off and went to have lunch at Church Street. So I picked up a takeaway wrap, sat by the river. Then there was a dog show on. I came back to that later, but there was also some open studios in Eel Pie Island. So I got some goodies there, and I'll show you the sketching that I did today. My plan was to do sort of quick half-hour sketches here and there, which is more or less what I achieved. So I started off doing the bridge at Eel Pie, leading on to Eel Pie Island. And it started off just as a line drawing with my sepia pen, fine liner, and then I decided to add some colour to it. It was windy, it was sunny and breezy out there, but lovely. I just tried to quickly catch the rowers before they disappeared, so there isn't much detail on them, they're just suggested there. And then I've worked the rest up. So there was lots of people coming and going over the bridge as the art studios were open over on Eel Pie Island. So I spent about an hour here. So half an hour doing the drawing and then another half an hour finishing it off and yeah, just working on some of the areas. And then where did I go next? Oh yeah, then I walked up across the way, and there was a nice little area with benches, went up the steps, and it was a slightly higher viewpoint, and it led to nowhere, so it was really just a viewing kind of platform, so you could sit there, and there were these lovely old-fashioned lampposts, and then Eel Pie Bridge was behind. But what caught my eye was obviously the lamppost, and then there was beautiful lavender on the inside and some bunting left from the Jubilee, I reckon. So I just enjoyed the colours there and the contrast. So that is my bunting, lavender and lamp. And then I went into York House Gardens and sat by the lily pond. So I avoided the naked ladies. That's the famous fountain there with sculptures of nymphs, sort of nymphs. Water nymphs, I suppose. And there were some other artists who were doing that scene. So I walked through the gardens to the lily pond, and I was focusing on the sleeping drake, and I made him larger than life, but then unfortunately didn't get the scale of the rest of the drawing right, so he looks huge. Anyway, the duck was on one side, the drake was in the middle. Later they went off together. There was loads of pigeons around and squirrels and rats. But I had to get one of these pigeons walking around, and then some children came and had a look in with their mums. So they were laying down by the lily pond and having a look at the tadpoles and fish that were in there. And dragonflies. It was beautiful. It was really lovely. So I've used my pastel pencils here. I started off with my sepia pen again, done the drawing, and then added the colour with my pastel pencils and added some depth with a black fine liner as well. And then this one was done with my sepia fine liner and water soluble pencils and a bit of watercolour, I think. And then this one was a black fine liner and the water-soluble pencils for the colour. So all in all, I really enjoyed it. We went across to the island. Eel Pie Island has famous art studios there now, or is famous for having an art community. So there's sculptors, potters, woodworkers, jewellery makers, painters, all on the island. And I went into one of the chalets, whatever you want to call cottages, studio, and this was Lee Campbell, and she had some miniature oil paintings, originals, so as cards. There were some famous Richmond scenes, but I thought I'd go for something a bit different, and I really loved the muted colours in here. So there's this lovely kind of sunset scene, and this is an original oil painting miniature. So I know how difficult it is to do miniatures. You need a steady hand, let alone with oil, because obviously oil paint is quite thick. So she's done these on a kind of textured paper, could be a canvas, And I just thought that was beautiful. Having painted some lilies, I've got some lilies on the river here. This one, she had a couple of other ones with bouquets of flowers and they were just delightful. So you've got a little bit of texture here. I found it difficult to choose, but I chose this one with the gold frame and the fabric because I thought this was a bit more interesting than just a straightforward still life of a vase of flowers. And I think these are beautiful. So really pleased as a memento with my sketches and with my purchases to support artists as well.